because this can only be described as a terrorist-like activity. Don't think there's any other way to describe it. I don't think we have had a shooting of this scale and magnitude in and around the parish of Clarendon or Jamaica as a whole in a very long time.
The tragic mass shooting in Clarendon, Jamaica, on August 11, 2024, has sent shockwaves throughout the nation. This horrific incident, which claimed the lives of 8 individuals, including a 7-year-old boy, and left 9 others injured, is a grim reminder of the violence that has become all too common in Jamaica. The atrocity has reignited the debate over the death penalty in Jamaica, raising profound questions about justice, morality, and the future of crime prevention in the country. So as the nation grapples with its grief, the critical question emerges: does this massacre justify the re-implementation of the death penalty? Or are there deeper systemic issues that must be addressed to prevent such tragedies from reoccurring? In this video, we will examine the arguments for and against the death penalty, considering the moral, legal, and practical implications of reinstating it in Jamaica. Additionally, we will look beyond the immediate response to understand the broader context of violence in Jamaica, including the complex relationship between crime and socio-economic factors. So stay tuned as we navigate through this multifaceted issue, aiming to shed light on the path forward for justice and societal change. Remember, if you find videos like these interesting or informative, please give this video a thumbs up, as that really does help the channel. The incident: a community shattered. On the night of August 11, 2024, the Cherry Tree Lane community in Four Parts, Clarendon, became the site of a brutal massacre. What should have been a peaceful bingo party turned into a nightmare when gunmen stormed the event, opening fire indiscriminately. The carnage left 8 dead and 9 others wounded, with a 7-year-old boy among the victims, a detail that highlights the horrific nature of the crime. Prime Minister Andrew Holness condemned the attack, describing it as reprehensible, brutal, and senseless. The massacre was not just an assault on the victims, but a direct attack on the fabric of Jamaican society, a society already struggling under the weight of rampant violence and crime. In response, the government swiftly declared a state of public emergency in Clarendon, hoping to curb the escalating violence that has plagued the parish for years. A nation on edge. The call for capital punishment. The Clarendon massacre has intensified the call for the re-implementation of the death penalty in Jamaica. Advocates argue that the sheer brutality of this crime demands the harshest possible punishment: a life for a life. For them, the death penalty is not just a deterrent, but a necessary tool of justice, a means to bring closure to the victims' families and demonstrate that the state will not tolerate such heinous acts. Historically, Jamaica has a complex relationship with capital punishment. The death penalty was once a common sentence for murder in the country, with the last execution carried out on January 19, 1988, when a man named, get this, Patrick Pringle or Nathan Foster, because I can't find out the exact name of the person that was hanged on that day. However, if anyone has the information, please let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, so he was executed for the crime of murder, specifically the killing of a police officer during a robbery. I am also seeing conflicting information that the last execution took place on 18th of February 1998, when Stanford Dinal and guess who again, Nathan Foster, were hanged. However, I am not sure about that, and I really don't trust the sources. But if you want us to figure that out in our next video, just let me know in the comment section down below. Anyway, since then, Jamaica has retained the death penalty only in law, but has not carried out any executions, largely due to international pressure and legal challenges. However, the rising tide of violence in recent years has led some to question whether the suspension on executions has contributed to the emboldenment of criminals. For proponents, reinstating the death penalty is seen as a way to restore order and justice in a society that has been traumatized by crime. They argue that certain acts of violence are so heinous that they warrant the ultimate sanction, not only as a form of retribution, but as a statement of the state's commitment to protect its citizens. The death penalty, they believe, serves as a powerful deterrent, sending a clear message that the state will exact the highest price for the most severe crimes. The death penalty, a closer examination. However, the debate over the death penalty is far from straightforward. Opponents raise significant moral, legal, and practical concerns, arguing that capital punishment is not the solution to Jamaica's crime problem. They point to a growing body of evidence suggesting that the death penalty does not effectively deter crime. Countries that have abolished the capital punishment, such as Canada and many European nations, have not seen a corresponding rise in violent crime. In fact, some studies suggest that the death penalty may actually have a brutalization effect, where the state's use of violence begets more violence. One of the most pressing concerns is the risk of wrongful convictions. Jamaica's justice system, like many others, is fallible, and the potential for error, whether due to flawed evidence, inadequate legal representation, or systemic biases, cannot be ignored. The unchangeable nature of the death penalty means that a mistake in the judicial process could lead to the execution of an innocent person, a miscarriage of justice that is irreversible and unforgivable. There is also the issue of human rights. The global trend has been toward the abolition of the death penalty, with over 140 countries having either abolished it in law or in practice. The United Nations, through various human rights bodies, has repeatedly called for a suspension on executions and has classified the death penalty as a violation of the right to life. In this context, Jamaica's decision on whether to reinstate capital punishment could have significant international repercussions, potentially affecting its relationships with key allies and international organizations. Moreover, the ethical implications of the death penalty extend beyond the individual being executed. State-sanctioned killing can have a corrosive effect on the broader society, reinforcing a culture of violence rather than challenging it. In a country like Jamaica, where violence is already deeply ingrained in the social fabric, the re-implementation of the death penalty could send the wrong message, that violence is an acceptable means of resolving disputes. So yeah, as you know, we have to pay the bills, so I'll be back shortly. Experience the ultimate entertainment with our premium IPTV services in Jamaica. Enjoy instant access to over 17,000 live TV channels, including popular local channels like TVJ and CVM, as well as a wide range of international HD, UHD, and 4K channels. Whether you are a fan of news, sports, movies, or TV series, our service offers an unparalleled viewing experience. Dive into a vast library of over 50,000 of the latest movies and TV series in stunning 4K and HD quality. Our user-friendly platform ensures you never miss a moment of your favorite shows, providing a seamless and high-quality streaming experience. Elevate your home entertainment with the best IPTV service in Jamaica, bringing you closer to the content you love, anytime, anywhere. Join thousands of satisfied customers and transform the way you watch TV today. And just remember, guys, that you can try this for free, or you can get 75% off if you decide to buy by using code ELITEJA. Alright, back to the video. Root causes beyond the punitive approach. While the death penalty debate is critical, it is equally important to address the root causes of violence in Jamaica. The Clarendon massacre, like many other violent incidents in the country, is not an isolated event, but part of a broader pattern of social dysfunction. Gangs, lottery scamming, drug trafficking, and inadequate education are all factors that contribute to the cycle of violence in Jamaica. Gang violence in particular is a major driver of crime in Jamaica. The country's history of political violence and gang warfare has left a legacy of criminal organizations that wield significant power in many communities. These gangs are often involved in various illegal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, and contract killings. The violence they perpetrate is not just random, but is often a calculated strategy to maintain control and instill fear. Addressing these underlying issues requires a multifaceted approach that goes beyond punitive measures. While law enforcement is a crucial component, it cannot be the only tool used to combat crime. There must be a concerted effort to address the social and economic conditions that give rise to violence. This includes investing in education, job creation, and social services that can provide alternative to gang life and help to break the cycle of poverty and violence. Because trust me, I still think some of our young people can be saved. Some people might disagree with me when I say, like for investing in the communities them through education and job creation. Some people are say bad man no want work. But I think some people can be changed. Furthermore, community-based approaches to policing and crime prevention are essential. Building trust between the police and the communities they serve is critical to effective law enforcement. In many areas, the relationship between the police and the public is strained, often due to past abuses or perceived indifference. Community policing, where officers work closely with local residents to address their specific concerns, can help to rebuild this trust and create a more collaborative approach to crime prevention. And some people say community policing doesn't work, but trust me, it actually does, because there are still law-abiding citizens in these affected communities. Alright? The myth of poverty as the root cause of crime. For many years now, the narrative surrounding crime in Jamaica has often centered on the notion that poverty is the primary driver of violence. Government officials, crime fighters, and even some academics have pointed to the economic hardships faced by many Jamaicans as the root cause of the country's high crime rates. The logic seemed straightforward. Desperate circumstances push individuals toward criminal activities as a means of survival. However, recent developments in Jamaica's crime landscape challenge this simplistic view and suggest that the relationship between poverty and crime is far more complex than previously thought. A disturbing trend has emerged, where many of the individuals involved in violent crimes, they are not impoverished, they are not struggling to make ends meet. Instead, they are individuals with considerable financial resources, both in Jamaica and abroad. These are people who are not merely victims of their circumstances, but are actively choosing to engage in criminal activities, often driven by greed and the desire for power. One of the most glaring examples of this is the involvement of well-funded criminals in the illegal lottery scam, a multi-million-dollar industry that has wreaked havoc both locally and internationally. The lottery scam, which primarily targets vulnerable individuals in the United States, has been linked to numerous violent incidents in Jamaica, including murders, kidnappings, and extortion. The perpetrators of these crimes are not impoverished individuals, but rather those who have amassed a significant wealth through their illegal activities. This wealth allows them to fund criminal enterprises, bribe officials, and maintain a lavish lifestyle, all while contributing to the cycle of violence in the country. The case of the Clarendon massacre further underscores the complexity of the crime-poverty relationship. While the community of Cherry Tree Lane may not be affluent, the motivations behind the massacre likely extend beyond the mere economic desperation. The involvement of gangs, territorial disputes, and revenge killings are factors that often drive such violent incidents, and these are not necessarily linked to poverty. Instead, they are tied to issues of power, control, and a desire to instill fear within communities. This reality challenges the long-held belief that poverty alone is to blame for Jamaica's crime problem. While economic deprivation undoubtedly plays a role in creating an environment where crime can thrive, it is not the sole cause. Addressing crime in Jamaica, therefore, requires a more nuanced understanding of the factors at play, including the influence of organized crime, the role of corruption, and the impact of a culture that in some areas glorifies violence and criminality. So moving forward, a new perspective on crime prevention. Given these complexities, the path forward for Jamaica must involve a multifaceted approach to crime prevention. While economic development and poverty alleviation are essential components, they must be complemented by strategies that address the broader socio-cultural and structural factors contributing to violence. First, there must be concerted effort to dismantle the criminal networks that operate with relative impunity across the island. This requires not only robust law enforcement, but also targeted intelligence operations aimed at disrupting the financial and logistical support systems that sustain these organizations. The focus should be on apprehending the leaders of these criminal enterprises and cutting off their resources, thereby weakening their ability to perpetrate violence. Second, Jamaica needs to invest in education and public awareness campaigns that challenge the glorification of violence and criminality. This includes working with schools, community groups, and the media to promote positive role models and alternative pathways to success. By changing the cultural narrative around crime, it is possible to reduce the allure of the gangster lifestyle and encourage young people to pursue legitimate opportunities. Third, efforts to combat corruption must be intensified. Corruption within the police force, judiciary, and the political system undermines public trust and allows criminals to evade justice. Strengthening institutions, ensuring accountability, and protecting whistleblowers are crucial steps in creating a fair and transparent system where the rule of law prevails. And finally, community engagement is key. Empowering communities to take an active role in crime prevention can lead to more effective and sustainable outcomes. This includes supporting community policing initiatives, providing resources for local crime prevention programs, and fostering partnerships between the police, local leaders, and residents. The debate over the death penalty in Jamaica, reignited by the Clarendon massacre, is undoubtedly significant. However, it should not overshadow the broader conversation about how to effectively address the root causes of crime. While some may argue that reinstating the death penalty would serve as a deterrent and deliver justice, it is not a solution that addresses the underlying issues driving violence in the country. To create lasting change, Jamaica must adopt a comprehensive strategy that tackles the multifaceted nature of crime. This involves not only strengthening law enforcement and the justice system, but also addressing the social, economic, and cultural factors that contribute to criminal behavior. By doing so, Jamaica can move toward a future where justice is not only punitive, but also preventative, ensuring a safer and more secure society for all of its citizens. Confucius, a Chinese philosopher who lived around 551 to 479 BCE, he said, "If the people are led by laws and uniformity sought to be given them by punishments, they will try to avoid the punishment, but have no sense of shame. But if they be led by virtue, and the uniformity sought to be given them by the rules of propriety, they will have the sense of shame, and moreover will become good." This quote reflects the idea that moral leadership and virtue are more effective in controlling crime than strict laws and punishments. Thank you for watching.